Hey everybody, this is Yard King. Um, so I'm a big tennis fan, and I have a disease called getting too many rackets. I'm trying to find the chosen one, and I keep going on and on through all these different racket choices. And so here's where I'm at. Um, I do love this. I think it's the 2024 Head Speed MP. It's a sweet racket. However, the problem with this racket, it is hits too hard. The launch angle is really high, and I play with my wife, and she's like only 5 foot. And when I start stroking this thing, she gets less balls back. And she actually does like me to hit hard, but she likes me to hit kind of lower launch and stuff like that. But what's cool about this racket, it is very dampened, and that way I can get away with using some pretty stiff string. That's a Headlinks Tour, and it'll pop the ball, and it has really nice feel. I really would suggest this racket for a lot of people. It looks sick. The newer version, the black version, also looks pretty sick. This is not that version, but it's still really cool. If you see it in the light, it has all these cool detail in the throat. It's very subtle, but it's there. Um, this is this is one of the first rackets I bought, and I kept trying to find another racket to replace it to trying to find the chosen one. And maybe what I should have done is just bought a second one of these and just call it quits, because um, this one does hit a low launch, and if you get the right strings, it's actually very powerful. Um, right here, this is something's biting me. Sorry. This is Toraline, Toro Toro, at strong of 51. I like it out of the gate. Has a lot of pop with this string. So this racket, if you get the right string, it'll have plenty of pop. So uh, this one, I got the wrong string and I hated it because it was too powerful. Then I stiffened up the Headlinks Tour and I liked it a lot better. Um, but this was really good. I also liked it in Tourline O Toro at 50, and I liked it a lot. And it lasted a really long time. This one I've only hit with it once, and I kind of go back and forth with my other new racket. Let me see. I'll put this one first. Next. So this one right here is the VCore 95. And what I find, this is actually an excellent racket. It has many similarities to this one. It has a little higher launch. I would say the power is pretty comparable. I've had one string set up. It was actually Tourline Super Toro. And while the internet says they're not very powerful, I thought they was very powerful. I thought the balls kept going low. I had to exaggerate my topspin to keep the ball in, and I didn't like it. And then I also tried them in Tourline Caviar, and I got tons of balls in. And if you just want to get that ball in, man, Caviar is the way to go. Um, I do feel like that string was kind of dampened feeling, and I wanted a little bit more pop. So eventually I went to another Tourline string. I'm trying all the Tourlines, and it was Tourline Snap. I strung it at 51, and at first I hated it, and then it loosened up, uh, and I actually like it really good. This string is um, very slippery, um, and it's very round, and it advertises a lower launch, which is what I needed, because this is a topspin racket. It gives you a higher launch by nature, but now I have a string that provides a lower launch to compensate. And my wife is 5 foot, and she likes it when I hit it hard, but she likes it when don't hit it so high. So this was a great racket. However, uh, I just fell in love with the new paint job of this one. So this is the VCore 95. You see, this is a lot of money down the drain. And it's not down. I mean, I love it. I love to play stuff. Some people buy really, really fancy cars or really, really fancy houses. So it's not. I'm not an entirely loser, wasting money all the time. Yeah, people buy tractors. There's a neighbor down the street has a yard of like 500 square foot, I'm exaggerating, but he has a big old giant tractor. Like, why did you buy that? I don't know, but that was his hobby. It's what he wanted to do. So this is a cheaper hobby. But so far, I originally got the Tourline Snap TF. That's this version, except stiffer. I put it in there, in the brand new racket, and it hurt my arm. I did not like it. It was very uncomfortable. Like literally after a few strokes, and I was like, well, there was no power in it, but and I only strung it at 48. So I strung this one at 51, so I figured stringing the other one at 48, it would still have the pop, but maybe it had more feel, and it definitely had more feel. Feel it in my wrist, I feel it in my elbow, didn't like it at all. So my stringer guy, he said he had a string he wanted me to try, and this was Y-Tech Quadra Twist. He said they're pretty soft. I will say, he said they're soft and poppy, and I will say it is soft, it is poppy, and like I say, it's got a nice big launch again. I think that's the big problem with this type of racket. If my goal is to try to keep it low, I realize you can keep it low. One of the ways that I do that is I put some lead tape right here, and so that brings the static weight about 340 with strings. And I don't know what the swing weight is. It advertised about 323 swing weight, and so theoretically that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, so 12 more. So if it's like you're like 326, and it feels fine. It doesn't feel heavy to me at all. So maybe it's not really that swing weight, and maybe the swing weight is below spec, and that's why it doesn't feel so heavy to me. But anyhow, it is a really sweet looking racket. Both this one and the black one are super sweet, and I think it's because they're starting to bring gloss back, and gloss just looks sick. It just looks more professional. However, I picked up today, I went to Play It Against Sports, and I picked up this old bad boy for $10. Now, why is this exciting me? I would only probably be the only person excited in the whole planet about this racket. And the reason why is when I was in high school, I only was able to get, cheap rackets. And this, who knows, maybe this was a cheap racket. But I do know my racket, there's an old guy who was a mentor for the team. Wasn't the coach, but he mentored the team. He came help practice every once in a while. He played with us every once in a while. His name was Otis, and he was like one of those guys you wouldn't expect to be good, but he would ace you and hit winners. And I'm like, dude, how did this guy doing that? Well, he got himself a new pro staff, and he was saying that I didn't have another racket. I wasn't getting any rackets. I don't think my parents saw the value of buying me another racket, because they saw that I had one. I had a nice, inexpensive one. But Otis went ahead and gave me one of his old rackets, and it was this one. So this is the Wilson hammer system. And so what it did, it was a 6.4, and they made a 110 square inch head version, and they made a 95. And I had the 95. That's what this is right here. And then they had these power holes. I always thought it just looked cool, but I think what it does is it gives it a little bit more. So it's 95 square inches, but it also, because the string goes so far back into these holes, that I think it just made the strings actually longer and allowed more trampoline effect. So it had a lot more pop than you think it did, because the strings actually go pretty far deep into that racket. The other thing that was really interesting is, this 95, and this 95 is about 61 RA stiffness rating. This one was about 60. This one is about 60. This was on about 60. They actually have, a lot of they have a lot of rackets that are pretty stiff these days, but they're generally not 95s. This one is supposed to be stiff. I Googled this, and they're saying it was anywhere from 69 to 71. And even though it's super light, with the grip, I just weighed it with a scale in my kitchen. This is only 284 ounces. I haven't played with it yet. Like I say, this one's 340, 341, 342, something like that. That's all three of these about rated up the same. That one was a little lighter, but it comes natural with like a 330 swing weight already. So I don't need to add weight to it, even though it's lighter than these three. But this one is advertised anywhere from like 315 to 320 swing weight already at a racket that's only 284 grams. That's insane. And so when you lift it up, it actually doesn't drop as much as you think. They had the one, some of them will really drop really far, like flipping on down. But man, it is light, but all the weight is in the head. And so when you swing, it just wants to keep going. But you have this really whippy light handle. When I started using this, my friend Otis gave it to me, the mentor of the team. All of a sudden, I started being able to hit all these shots that I hadn't hit before. We were playing doubles, and I'm hitting these winners. And I'm like, how in the world, where is this coming at? Now, he thought I liked it. He actually was a stringer for myself as well. I remember he charged $20, and that included the strings. That's a lot cheaper than it is today. But he put multi-filaments in there, and everybody strung it tight back then. He strung it at 63 for me. Now, I was a kid. I didn't even look at this stuff, but ended up, it was actually says it was supposed to, I'm not sure if I can find it. It recommends 50 to 60 pounds. So I was 3 over, and sure enough, a ball was hit hard at me, and it hit my frame, and that racket just cracked right in the middle of the frame just by the tennis ball. And I was so let down because I had only just found the Magic One and I was able to play a couple games with it, and I felt so much better with this racket. I felt like the ball went lower over the net, and because of that, I could hit more angles, like tight angles, and get people off the court. So here I am. I got this racket for $10. I've seen this online in mint condition for $100. I guess someone else being nostalgic. This is not in mint condition at all. But what I've done, I've ordered some multi-filament strings. I've ordered its head MTL, MLT velocity, 1.30 millimeter black strings. It's going to look sick. And then I also ordered a leather grip and an over grip. So the leather grip is going to add some weight to it, and then the over grip is going to add some weight to it, which will probably get me over 300 grams, I'm guessing. And at that point, I don't have really a particular way to measure swing weight, but I'll just kind of go afield, and if I'm at 300 grams, it'd be super easy to add just a hair of lead to make it a higher swing weight if I wanted to. Now, is this going to be my main racket of choice? Of course not. This is going to be like one of those things that I just kind of break out every once in a while to hit. And I just want to see if it's powerful. Like, is it as powerful? Is it as accurate as I remember? I mean, look at the string pattern. So my tightest string pattern here is, at least before, was my Percept. This is a 1619 string pattern. This is a 1620. That's a 97 inch square. This is a 95. I'm not sure. I mean, Maybe the Percept is a little tighter. I think the Percept's a little tighter. When I come over here, I mean, it's about the same. It's about the same as the V-Core. So that'll be interesting to see what it does. So part of me wants to get a soft poly in here, because you got to understand, there's not going to be any of the modern dampening tech that they have. This is going to be raw. This is going to have a raw feel. I'm going to have to get a dampener on here, and there's not going to be any tech in here at all. And so it's going to be raw, and I'm not sure. I mean, I don't think polys even existed when this racket was made. So I'm not sure if polys is the answer. You're going to get a poly, and you're going to put on a head-heavy racket where they put most of this light weight over here. I don't think they care about that so much. Like, I feel like the polys are going to be... Sorry, I'm getting bit by bugs. I think the polys are going to make it very harsh on my arm, especially since I'm used to like nice, soft, comfortable rackets. So I'm going to stick with multi-filaments, but I was tempted to maybe go with this poly, the Quadra Intech, because it's known to be a pretty soft string. But anyhow, if you like tennis, I don't think there's any tennis people on my channel, but if you like tennis, let me know what you think. Is this a cool thing? And check out your local shops. Play Against Sports, they don't really have all the brand new rackets. But if I had more money to spend, I would just love to go spend it. They had Prestiges. I have no idea what age they were, but they actually were in great condition. But they were going for $60. They had some other Yonex. There was this one Yonex that was... they don't have anything like it now. It was glossy and it was very pretty. Yeah, it was glossy like that one. It was a 97 square head like this one, isometric, but instead of a 1619 or instead of a 1620 string pattern, it has 1621 string pattern. I've never even heard of that before. And I would have been tempted to get that, but it was like, they had two of them too, and it still had the wrapper on the handle. The only thing is, it had a 1/8 grip, and I just don't like... I actually gave up a really cool head extreme racket because I got a hold of it, and I didn't like the 1/8 grip, but the racket itself was really nice. I like 1/4, and I like 3/4 fine. I don't really like the 1/8, but otherwise, I would be tempted to go ahead and get that because, man, what a novelty. A racket has a 1621 string pattern. Like, it could be amazing. I just don't even know. So, anyhow, any tennis players in the comments, tell me what you think. Can I turn this into a beast? Most likely, I'm just going to clean it up and hang it up in the man cave as a memory to my youth. But I'll break it every once in a while and play. You know, one other thing before I go, look how thick this thing is. Look how thick that is. It's a little thinner throughout here. You go here, the neck is super thick. And it might be because this could be hollow. I'm not sure because they put a lot of the weight up here in the head. I think the handle's super light. But look at this one. I'm not sure if you just... But it's a lot thinner. This is 22 millimeter consistent beam. And this is like way bigger. But the same size head. You don't see that. Usually when you get these 95s, usually they're soft. You know, that thing is designed to be That thing is, even though it's a 95, it's designed to have pop. So I can't wait to get it out there and mess around with it. So, all right, like, comment, subscribe, peace.